Welcome to episode 27 of the Global Exclusive Podcast. I'm your host, Hazard. Joining me as always is Baros, Cotton, Dream, Muspel, and Shadow. Welcome back, Baros. We missed you last week.
Oh, thanks. So good to be back. Like, you don't know the amount of pent-up shit I have.
Don't
dear.
ask any questions. Nobody say anything.
No questions.
I it's a morbid curiosity.
No!
I want to ask
No.
just to see what
Cut,
Barros would
no.
say. Like just to see what Barros would say.
Don't do it.
We've got an
No.
exciting...
No.
No. We've got an exciting week this week for you guys. We've got a couple new units, and we've got some actual content that isn't DV or MK, which is really exciting for me. And Muspel's got our sponsor.
This week, the Global Exclusive Podcast is sponsored by one of the simplest and most intuitive rotations in the game, Carton. And it's just so much fun to use him, because you look at his skills, and you automatically know the skill that you're going to use next is
Moonlit
Frenzy
Strike.
Rampage.
exactly.
Moment Frenzy.
Nobody could ever disagree on what to do with Carton's rotation. It's just, it's so wonderful for new players and veterans alike.
It's just really streamlined.
I agree. Carton is one of the best designed units in the game.
Yeah, just a really simple rotation. It's just kind of the poster child that you want for Gumi to follow with new units, basically. All right, so...
That's where we have the music, I guess.
No, actually, we're not going to have the music. We're going to have Hazard humming it.
No, please.
Okay.
We'll lose so many listeners. All right, so let's start with the new duo unit, because we have to have a duo unit this week, and it's yet another version of Fina. And this time they decided, you know what? Instead of doing Fina paired with someone else, let's just do Fina paired with herself. And so we got the Fina and Dark.
It's twice the Fina per unit.
I mean, twice the sexy times,
I have not looked at it.
twice the sexy pose.
No,
twice
I mean the original CG Fina one.
That original, seriously?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the fact that they put that of them almost kissing on the app icon for like 6 months, I had to hide it three screens back in my phone so people didn't wonder what the hell I was thinking.
You know you can change the icon of
and
the
Hey,
app.
Hazard.
The worst part
You
is
cannot
that
do that.
not only does it have that kissing in the icon, but it also, the first two letters of the app name are FF.
Well, okay, I am behind.
Wait, Barrows didn't get that?
Yeah, right.
Barrows.
I know. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. FF means Final Fantasy
Let's
in my
just-
world. I don't know what you perverts
Let's
are
just let
about.
Barrows think about that for a while while we move on. So, Fina
Yeah, okay.
is appearing
I'm
on
surprised Barros didn't come up with any
2-2.
joke though.
Okay, Fina and Dark Fina are appearing on a bundle. I think it's 3K Lapis to purchase one, so 12K for an STMR. And I can't recall if they're going to be permanently in the pool or not, but I believe they are.
Yeah, they are.
Can you purchase four
Yes, you
of the
can.
Yes,
bundle?
it's max 4 as well.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Good news
Oh,
for
purchasing
Tyserius
it.
and Robot DA.
But
It's
yeah,
an-
purchasing it for the TMR and STMR is basically all it's good for, because this unit is 8 months late with no buffs. So that should paint a
I
pretty
mean,
clear
honestly,
picture.
more than 8 months. If they had come out a year ago, we would be talking about how they were pretty good.
I think one of the things that I saw a lot recently is that people complaining that this was a quote unquote greedy way of slapping Lapis, but I think not everyone really needs this unit. In fact, I would say 99% of the player base probably doesn't even need a TMR by this point.
I mean, I think the TMR is probably, if anything, more relevant than the STMR. If you want true dual wield, there are better STMRs than hers. But dual wield from an accessory is actually
debatable.
not necessarily bad, because mages don't really have a lot of good stuff for the accessory slot compared to physical units. And they also often don't have innate dual wield.
But let's be honest, equipment magic for dual wielding is pretty rare in general. I mean, they're only STMRs for the most part. It's 25.
I don't think that non-whales are going to be spending 12k lapis on this, and I don't think that, and whales have better options available to them. So
I'm gonna say I was looking the other day for an accessory slot with dual wield for mages. Like we do need more of those. It's just too bad it's like behind a paywall.
Yeah, I'm glad she's in the permanent pool. Someday I'll probably pull one of her off banner, and I'll be happy to have her TM. But
Yeah.
I saw.
Unlike the 5th Jiraiya I just pulled.
I mean, technically, we do have dual wield for mages. We have like Genji gloves. We have, I think, is it Medina?
Genji glove.
Yeah, but Medina is not an accessory.
Genji
Hey,
glove.
you know this. I have used Genji gloves recently. Okay, when I was
Yeah,
just
listen,
that
do not
desperate.
disrespect the Genji glove. Like, I was so happy to get my second Gilgamesh back in the day. I was
Genji Glove
overjoyed.
is okay. The problem is that the stats on it have not aged well.
Yeah.
No.
Genji glove was fine
Yeah,
until
exactly.
equipment attack became a thing.
I do still see it pop up in mage builds once in a while, but it's very rare. Whereas, yeah.
Yeah, usually it's actually worth it using Quintessence.
Yeah, Four Winds Phasalis, her TMR
Yeah.
is really nice as an upgrade from what's her name's Medina's. There's a lot of
Have we
yeah,
talked-
there's more
have we-
decent stuff.
Have we talked about Fina as a unit, or is
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a pretty good respect of like how much her kit matters.
She is a terrible
Well,
damage dealer
yeah.
or an even more terrible healer.
But it's 2 Finas, you know? Like, it's actually the
Twice as
LB of
bad.
the CG Fina, but in a unit.
Yeah, it's
Double the Fina, double the
You
fun.
know what's really
Yeah.
telling about this unit is that most of the times Gumi puts in an effort to translate the names of the units to something much more extravagant. So what happens is that what used to be Titus of Xanarkin is like star player Titus, and I spend like a good 5 minutes reshuffling my sheet so that it's in alphabetical order. But Fina and Dark Fina, holy shit, they didn't change anything from what Slime produced like 18 months ago or whatever time it was.
It could have been like Lotus, Mage, Dark Fina, and
I don't know that we've
Fina
really
of
seen.
the Epsilon Star.
Have we ever
Doubly
really seen them rename the
Doubly
dual
sexy
units though?
Fina, sexy poses Fina.
No.
I mean, we don't have many, but like Summer, Folka, and Citra is like they didn't call them. I'm not even going to go there, but they didn't like make up a weird name.
I wonder, like, when the next step in the evolution is gonna come, like when we're gonna get triple units and quadra units and penta units, like 3 Finas. Imagine like Blue Mage Fina, Dark Fina, and
No.
the
Just
regular
a
Fina.
full team in one slot.
Technically, we already have a triple
Yeah.
unit, and it's Warhero Reagan because it's him, the horse, and Odin.
I mean,
Wait,
yeah,
so-
okay,
but
that's
hold
actually
on.
true. Odin is there somewhere.
Four wins for Salus is for Salus, Moog, and 4 Tetrasilphid, so that's like a hexa unit.
Oh, Hexa unit. Yeah, because I was thinking like, 5 Barretts and 1
No,
Fina, for
gosh,
instance. That would be a
dang
cool
it.
God
unit.
damn it.
Ah.
You don't agree? I think that would be a really
Next
cool
unit.
It'd be like that
Let's move
picture
on to
I've
the next
seen on
unit.
the internet.
Potentially the more interesting one.
Yeah,
Zenaida.
definitely the more interesting one.
You guys pronounce it
Zenaida?
Zenaida or Zenaida?
Zenaida.
Yeah, Zenaida.
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 So,
Zenaida. Wow, she has all the whales. So excited.
you know who else is excited about Zenaida?
She-
Me,
I
because
mean-
I got her on the first boss rush 5-star ticket.
That's incredible.
Oh, wow. That's really good for
That
that
TMR is
TMR.
amazing.
You know what I don't like about Zenaida?
Everything else.
I don't like her sprite because I think that her animations are so lackluster. Actually, the sprite itself is not that bad, but like animations, they're just, someone phoned it home.
I haven't looked at him
I
yet.
mean, to be fair, she is a free unit in JP. Like, to give you some
Free in
background,
quotes.
to give you all some background, in JP, you get Zenaida from the boss rush stickers. They didn't have a box summon, they just have a generic banner where you can chance of dropping like
That's so
stuff
much
like
worse.
5-star tickers and everything. And Zenaida at really low odds. So technically, she's a free unit, just free like Marquis the Lion, whatever.
Free like
okay.
Ring of
That-
Dominion materials.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I honestly
which is why
don't get why people complain.
Which is why her STMR and TMR are so good for a quote free unit.
Wait, is anyone
Oh,
complaining? really,
Facebook
Shadow,
and Reddit were
Yeah.
crazy about like, how Gumi's
Really?
taking a free unit
They
and
put a
making.
free unit on a paid banner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but listen. Let's
Oh, dear.
let's calm down for a second and really look
Spot
at
the
this.
people who have never played JP.
The chances of you getting this unit,
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel this is a huge upgrade
Yeah.
to what JP got. Like, at least in terms of
because the
rewards.
chance of getting this unit was really, really low, and it was just short.
Mhm.
It was like limited time. Now we have a unit that can show up on any banner, and you can also USC a prism. Like it's just a much better way to go about it. I know it goes from free to not free, but in reality, you're getting a much higher chance as the player base as a whole to get this unit. And she's not only extremely powerful, but her TMR and STMR are really, really good. So her TMR, 60% attack, not attached to any sort of weapon, and physical damage against beasts, humans, dragons, and stone are all by 25%.
I mean, that's
well,
STMR level.
not really.
Almost.
The killers are a little
is.
low. Like STMR level is Furion, who gets 75%.
Yeah, okay.
I
fine.
would say
But
50%
still,
is
it's
STMR
quite rare.
because there's a couple STMRs that are like 60% attack and 50% on 3 killers.
That's true.
Yeah, like Regina, for instance,
yeah,
right?
yeah, Regina, Flammy.
But this is really solid for getting one unit and getting this TMR. It's really nice. And her STMR is an accessory. It's 65 flat attack, which I believe is the highest flat attack we've seen so far. And it's 100% dual wield equipment attack, which is
I do want to say
bonkers.
I've seen some people. I've said this on Reddit,
strong.
and so this may be
I know
for
what you
people who
said.
have read that. But keep in mind the 100% true dual wield. Half of that is going to be wasted on almost every single unit because nowadays every physical chainer that uses dual wield, or physical chainer or finisher that uses dual wield, has 150% true dual wield built into their kit. Aside from the dragoons who are designed for TDH, and then you can make them dual wield instead. So this is good for like Fang or Sid or Freya. Anybody else?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Edward only has like 100% true dual.
Who?
Yeah, Edward
Yeah,
is so old.
well,
like that's an outdated
yeah,
unit. Cotton,
he's
please.
definitely an
shut up,
older
Barros.
unit. But looking at
know.
more recent units and just looking ahead, half the dual wield is going to be wasted. So it's still a good item. It still has 65 flat attack, but it's a relatively minor upgrade over Hermes sandals on pretty much anybody these days.
No,
I
but
can
the
already
way-
hear people reeing from that. Just
It's okay. I'll answer on their behalf. Like the way I look at it, even if you are overcapping true dual, it means that regardless of whoever you use it on, you're going to just need one accessory to cap their
I
true
mean,
dual.
that's already
And
true.
as a
That's my
bonus,
point.
it comes
But the thing is, this is a best in slot accessory anyway.
yeah.
Oh,
And
we
it
are
comes
not
with
letting each
65
other
flat
talk
attack,
today.
like which is one of the highest attack we have
Yeah,
in game
by the way-
on an accessory.
Yes,
Yeah, this is gonna be great fun, I think. But Cotton is right. I want to say, like, okay, first of all, premium whale STMR, absolutely. Like for the dragoons, wow, like this is powerful. And second, it's still like all the future true dual wield units have so easy capping attack. So like accessories like Ravenheart aren't as like STMRs like Ravenheart aren't as powerful anymore. So what you want to do is you want to put that 65 attack in there. That's huge.
Agreed.
I mean, obviously, it's just preparing for, instead of the 400% TDH cap, Global's going to get the 300% true dual wield cap.
Yeah.
Because obviously dual wielders are really underperforming compared to TDH units.
Yeah.
Dream, I don't like you today.
Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? You know, like let's not gaze into the future too
It's
far.
kind of funny though that Muspel saying 150%. True dual wield is already on a lot of these newer units. It's true for Zenaida, or Zenaida. She's already got 150% as well. So
Yeah.
She doesn't necessarily need it.
can we talk about her absolutely?
I mean, her
bonkers,
burst is
Yeah, her
insane.
actual-
absolutely
So,
bonkers damage.
The first thing I want to mention before we get into the damage is that even aside from that, she's got some other good stuff that makes her really good for DV. She has 125% killers for 4 races: Beast, Humans, Dragons, and Stone. And Beast and Stone are pretty hard to gear for. Humans and Dragons aren't that bad, but they're still a little tricky. And that just makes her a lot easier to gear. She's even got a little bit of innate elemental resist. Not like it's only 10%, but it's something.
But if you guys like, there's one thing that I love about Zenaida that kind of I think should be mentioned because like normally our meta damage dealers are white, and that's really refreshing. No, I'm not even joking.
Are they?
It's nice.
But
and
like,
inclusive.
or I mean, or purple, you know. But like generally, when they
White or
actually have a
purple.
skin color, they.
Who's purple?
So I think who.
I mean,
You say one of them's purple. Who
Lord
is
of
purple?
Shadows.
I think what he means is that they have like a purple aura too, like Umbral Dragon Dark Fina. She's purple, at least in my eyes.
Yeah. No, but I'm thinking like, okay, there are things
Like,
that
yes.
aren't human, like Cloud of Darkness was meta in the Barrage meta, and I don't count her as not being white.
I'm really excited for
She's
Zenaida because she's got not only those 4 different killers innately, but she also increases her own by 75%. She's also got a cooldown that increases it by 150%, although you do have to wait till turn 5. But she can also also has 4 elements that she can imbue to herself, which is fire, earth, lightning, and dark. So she is a very, very good DV unit. As well, her limit burst and just burst in general is like, it's just out of this world. I mean, it's like double.
Yeah, someone told me that her burst is like, someone told me that her burst is almost on par with Envy Cloud, which
One
says
thing
a lot.
I would note is that a lot of her setup moves deal damage, including the imbues, which will deal elemental damage. So in some cases with squishier bosses, it could be tricky to have her not kill the boss while you're setting up.
True.
I mean, she is true dual build, isn't he? She just target your evade tank.
Single target and do a target your like an evade provoker.
That's true.
And then you can do all the setup on them.
Can I crash?
Just beat up poor Zon.
Can I crash this train because everyone's like on Zenaida, like she's like the next coming of Jesus.
No, I mean, I still think her animations are crap.
I mean, there's one thing. I mean, mechanically
I think
speaking,
her limit frames are crap.
Yeah, her LB frames are just stream mentioned pretty terrible. Her like getting her burst out is basically relying that you're getting her limit burst out and then using her
fill it up in one turn.
Yeah, and getting her quintuple kick. So what happens is that in any other trial like environment, if you bring 2 Zenaidas, you also need to make sure that there's at least other external chainers that could help make for the chain cap to be higher, so that her infinity kicks actually does the burst that the sheets tell you to. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying it is another layer of cumbersomeness to get the big dick damage on.
It makes it a bit annoying.
But in DV,
I mean, in DV it doesn't matter.
She's just a finisher.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny drawback for like immense power.
I do think Zenaida is another unit that, if you're not trying to compete in DV, you can skip this banner. She's good, but she's not such a massive upgrade over everything else that it's worth pulling for a new damage dealer if you already have a good one.
Yeah.
Well,
especially when Envy's probably pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I'll disagree.
Let's go, Envy, Elena. I just pulled my 7th.
we really are just interrupting each other the whole time, aren't we?
Yeah. Yes. But
yes,
that's
we are,
welcome to the podcast,
Well,
Hazard.
I was gonna say, I do agree that you can skip a banner because it's a damage dealer and ND's coming, but she is a pretty significant upgrade. Just her just chaining damage is like the best burst in the game, and her burst damage is like double that. So I mean, she does need a little bit of help, but in all honesty, she can really dish it out and help you out. So just luck into the boss rush tickets and get her like I did. It'll be easy.
Actually, I can empty box 3 right now and try mine.
Oof, empty my box dream. Wait.
No thanks.
Can we talk about the...
Oh boy, yeah.
Can we just like mention...
This is what we've been missing last week.
Speaking of the boss rush.
Boss rush.
Yeah.
Boss rush.
Welcome to our next topic.
Thank you. I feel welcome. This is I'm really excited about this because basically for the last like 4 months we've had no content other than Mog King event and DV, right? I mean that's basically it.
And raids. Don't forget about raids and Item World. The best content.
Raids.
I mean it's like not real content though. This is cool. I really like this. The rewards, first of all, are very good. You get like 4 or 5 5-star tickets, STMR tickets. Like it's a pretty decent reward for not a whole lot of setup, at least for the earlier stages. But the later stages actually provide some challenge and some team compositions. Like this is the kind of content that I enjoy. And apparently it's going to be a monthly thing, which is exciting for me. So I have something to look forward to every month instead of just being depressed about TV.
I just like to point out that this is structurally not that dissimilar to Dark Visions and gives similar rewards. I mean, similar types of rewards. You get less of them with Dark Visions, but Dark Visions was kind of the same thing as this. A lot of bosses, you have to gear for different stuff, and then you get some 5-star tickets.
But you only have to gear once.
And also, you're not competing with other people,
Yes.
so you just have to clear it.
Yes.
True.
You don't have to clear it better than other people and optimize.
So you get 2 weeks.
And I'm gonna say while DV has a focus on damage, I feel this event has a focus on survivability because, as Dream said, you just want to clear. So it's just comfortable to clear it with a team that can just survive, right?
For sure.
You don't
I
really have
prefer
to do
that
max
aspect
damage.
of it. I just think that Hazard is overstating the differences.
I don't know. I think
I'm not.
I don't think he is not overstating it at all. In fact, I'd say this is what I prefer over DV like 100% of the time in terms of like
Oh, definitely.
So DV lovers and non-DV lovers fight.
You can the way that the content is spread out, it's not spread out over like fucking 5 days or something. They gave us all 3 levels of the stages on the same day, and once you find a team for stage 1, you can technically use the same team for stage 5 as long as you have a plan throughout. And the other thing, the best thing about this is that I really like the 5-unit restriction, because with the power creep that's been going on these days, taking 6 units would have made at least intermediate really, really easy. But that 5-unit restriction made me bring some weird combinations and ghetto chaining in certain. So yeah, I really like it.
I think.
And I like
the.
Go for it.
Now, Hazel was talking about how the rewards are good. And the best thing about the rewards is that you don't actually have to clear the final 2 stages of Advance to clear all the box.
Really?
You can get more than enough tickets to clear all the boxes just by clearing up to stage 3 Advance.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
there's 60 total, and it only takes 50 to clear the box or something.
There's more than 60
But-
because
Yeah.
I have not cleared the last one yet, and I had like 59 tickets.
It might be 70 then from the like updated
I think
version.
so, yeah.
But,
you know what I think
one-
is the best thing about this event is that it teaches me again that 5-star EX tickets are fucking useless. I'm sorry, Hazard, but like unless it's Hazard.
Most of the time.
And
I mean, I got my first Luna Freya.
I mean, they're kind of lowering my will to buy the bundles that have 5-star EX tickets in them.
I think Dream had something to say.
Yeah.
By the
I was
way, I
gonna say
also
the-
have.
Oh my
God
god.
damn it, Barrows.
Barrows.
Okay, that was on
The
purpose.
The Barrows train is going full swing.
Yeah, but I wasn't here for the last episode.
The one thing I don't like about the way it's laid out is the fact that you have to clear like each one, like 1 bosses, then 2 bosses, then 3. Like, why not just have all 5?
That's
'Cause
true.
You're gonna
That's
have
true.
to beat all 5 in a row anyway. The rest is just a waste of time.
They seem to scale up the numbers
Well, I mean,
a bit.
it's kind of giving you tickets.
I think it's aimed at new players that can't clear everything because the stats
Yeah,
scale
that's
up in addition to fighting more bosses in the later ones.
And this is what makes this.
I guess what
Go for it.
I was gonna say, what would have been cool is if they could work it so it was 1 fight, and then you get, like, if you do not clear the whole thing, you get rewards based on how many fights you did win.
Well, they
Yeah,
Because then you can have just 1 stage, but still have that same accessibility.
could make
to
it
do
just
things.
like the story event bonus stage, right? Where you have 5 stages in a row. So you get the rewards,
Yeah.
but you get the rewards after clearing each stage. So you only do it once, but you keep the same gear, units, MP, and everything through all 5 stages. I guess that would have
well,
been
the
improvement.
problem is
Yeah,
with a
that'd be
story
perfect.
event, if you wipe, you don't get the rewards unless you beat everything.
Right.
So that's not
That's
what
why I
you're
said
talking about.
you'd get the rewards. What I'm saying is,
Yeah, they could still change it slightly.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
they
not
have
saying
a way
anything.
set up to do that right now, so they would have to get their engineers to add it. And anything that, in game development, anything that your engineers need to work on is a tough sell because that's expensive.
right. I'm just
I
saying.
mean, it's just a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air. I like
yeah,
this.
overall,
Guys,
it's
come
very
on.
nice. I think it's
Oh
quite
my
interesting.
god.
Can we decide who's talking and who's not talking?
I've tried to say I'm just saying, but I haven't been able to say anything. So
So, Hazard, did you want to say something?
all I wanted to say, if everyone's done, is
So I had this thing that.
Go on, Hazard. I think the Barrows train ran out of coal.
well, I just want to say like this is really refreshing. I agree with you guys. It's refreshing for me. They could make it a little bit better, as Dream and Muscle pointed out, but as Muscle said, it's not going to happen because you'd have to re-engineer a couple things. But I think I would be nitpicking if I said I didn't like it for that reason. I mean, I would rather not do Icebird one more time. I completed everything except Advanced 5 so far because I just want to make sure I can clear the bombs because I don't want to do the Icebird over and over again.
I've beaten Icebird 3 times because the first time I did Advance 4, I missed the lightning damage mission. I just completely didn't pay attention to it. So I had to do Advance 4 twice and Advance 5.
I had somebody die the
and
first
it's not
time.
fun. I don't like
I had
that
somebody
boss.
die the first time, but that does also mean Esper War, so I am not going back for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is
But I mean,
nice.
you don't really have to, right? You get literally nothing by clearing the final battle,
It's
right?
not
No, you get
literally
more
nothing.
tickets.
Yeah,
After the box summons are done, you can do more summons, and you get king pots and STMR tickets.
Oh, okay. So you can get some stuff,
Yeah,
but like
maybe other
the guaranteed
maybe
stuff
other
is
stuff
over.
too. I'm not sure, but I got 2 STMR tickets from 9 post box summons.
Okay. Yeah, so
See,
Shadow is saying that me and Muspel are on fire today, and I just want to say, you know what my secret is to when I'm doing the editing of the podcast? I put my waveform at the top, and whenever I see my waveform overlap with another, I know that that's overtalking, because I'm literally in every overtalking segment on the pod.
It's just funny because I try to say something, and 3 seconds into it, Muspel will say exactly what I was going to say, but interrupt me while he does it. I'm like, no, Boros, actually, you.
Yeah,
you
Hazard,
do.
I feel that like
I get-
every time you try to say something, the Muspel comes in and cuts you off.
Becoming a
See,
part of the
Barrows I can
scenes.
understand because Barrows was missing last week, so it's just making up for lost time. But Muspel, it's just being Muspel,
I'm
I
just
guess.
trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do active listening and agree with what Hazard is saying.
Yeah, in my defense, I have this big, juicy, raging podcast boner I haven't been able to, get down for the
Jesus.
past 2 weeks.
There we go. There's the Barrows that we know.
I am
Yeah, 'cause,
actually
he
looking
hasn't
forward
been
to
here
what
before.
what kind of other
There goes
boss
Muspel.
rushes we're
Look at
gonna
it.
get.
There it goes.
The whole
I have no idea what Shadow
I know
just said.
because it's just.
Yeah, did anyone hear what Shadow said?
oh my god,
I stopped.
I think Shadow
stopped
was
as soon
talking,
as I
but
heard
I
him
didn't
talking.
hear him
You
for
guys
some
kept
reason.
going.
the whole oh my god.
So Shadow, what were you gonna say?
I mean, I'm just gonna say that the whole
Shadow, do you wanna
boss
go?
rush survival event is really nice, and I think it's one of those events that's gonna be, and as I think Sinzar mentioned or somebody mentioned in this podcast too, is that it's gonna be added to our monthly cycle of things, and I do wish to see harder stuff, in the thing, but not like Icebird hard, like. I don't know what was a hard trial that was before, but it'll be really interesting to see if they do like magic and physical, but in a harder format other than int, because int was
I
really
think
easy.
the issue with Icebird isn't necessarily difficulty; it's gearing because you need the resists.
The element Tetris.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it
I mean,
hard.
that's kind of a form of why it's difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also the fact that it's a two-phase boss, I hate that.
I would rather have VV in there than Icebird, even though VV is way harder.
Wait,
Well,
VV?
one half of VV, not both waves, but
Venomous
just one
fire.
wave.
Oh,
of it.
it's like, why would VV be in there?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I expect this from Muspel. I expect this because, guys, remember, whenever we're talking about the season 3 story, somehow Muspel knows what's going on. He actually knows in detail. So the rest of us are in this group. We're like, oh man, this raw sewage, oof, probably tastes horrible. Now the Muspel comes in, guys. I know. I've been tasting it every week, and it tastes horrible. And the rest of us are like, why? Why are you tasting this raw sewage, Muspel?
No, I played through the season 3 story while watching the cutscenes for the first continent, island, what do you want to call it? Then I started skipping. So anything after that, I don't know about.
No, okay, because it feels weirdly like you're very on top. Like you know the character names, you know what they're doing in the story.
Yeah, only the ones from the first
I
island.
smell a lie.
I have no idea who any of these later bosses that I'm fighting are.
Yeah, we're like, what's the worst thing about... Oh, sorry, actually, I'm on season 3 right now. I'm not going to be on that. We're probably going to talk about that anyway later.
Are we?
are we though?
Are we?
Do we need to?
Are
But we
we?
got a story we got a new story chapter. And
Yeah,
We
but
did?
do we want?
but we were on
but do
something
we wanna
entirely
talk
different.
about it?
No, maybe not.
I mean, we're recording less than a day after the game's been up, so I don't think any of us have really got to
Also
it
that-
yet.
Well, I finished it, but I didn't. I skipped all cutscenes.
Oh,
so.
okay.
I did the story reset for one reason, because that would give me the 3k needed for a 20% ticket on Van's banner. And you know what, motherfuckers? That ticket actually got me
got
a
it.
Van. I am so happy.
Congrats, you joined all the other meta slaves.
I did, finally.
All right, which of you doesn't have a Vaughn besides me? Everyone has a Vaughn, right?
Yeah.
I
had to
still
just
haven't
use
used my second
guarantees.
one because I'm now pulling my 20%. No, the 60%, the 60k EP MK ticket to see if I shit
But you've
it.
all
It's
got
really
one.
weird to me
You've all
that
got one.
Hazard has kids, I think, and yet he doesn't have a van.
All right, end the podcast. Close it. This is it. This is where we own.
I just want to say that we had a little battle of the titles, and Barrows put most vaunted in the YouTube title, and I think in the podcast. But I put Vaughn down by the river, in mine, and that was a big hit. We got like double the amount of comments as usual because of the SNL reference. So you're welcome. You're welcome, guys.
So does that mean Hazard wins?
Yes, I win. I don't know.
That's exactly what it means.
Win.
It's creating
Wait, so
all the
does Hazard
future
get a
threats.
Next time, Hazard has to stick
My-
around for the Quiplash segment. We can find out between him and me who's funnier.
Something nudes.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like Whiplash is so easy. You can just win it by doing insider jokes and really lewd content.
So it sounds like you.
Pretty
Barros,
much.
what do you think we did last week?
I mean-
what do you think
I mean,
happened?
Muspel
Have you
basically
seen the
did all of
screenshots?
that. He put everybody into Burroughs' fantasy sex dungeon or something. So it worked out.
Oof.
Yeah, I guess we're done with Boss Rush though. We like it, good. Keep doing it. Don't put weird free units like Zenaida into it. Just give us better rewards.
The boss.
No, better
the boss is
rewards.
good.
What? We got great rewards. Come on.
No, compared to JP, because
She
JP,
means more
Give
five-star
us more of
tickets.
the
yeah,
same.
more of the same would be nice.
It
Yeah.
was really well done. Keep doing this. This is the kind of stuff we need.
Yeah, keep reminding me that 5-star EX tickets are fucking worthless.
Hey.
Like they're worth less than a 3-star yellow
I
ticket.
got Zenaida.
actually-
No. 30% rainbow tickets are the most worthless tickets. I am 0 for 13 on them. 0 for 13.
Really? Wow.
Zero
Okay.
rainbows from those things.
I actually got a pretty decent amount of good rainbows from these pulls. So now I can get like a second Awakened Raiden STMR, a second Ramza STMR. I'm happy.
Yeah, my EX tickets are absolutely terrible.
All right, let's move on. So we've got another
God.
piece of content this week, which is a new Chamber of the Vengeance boss, which should have come out
Oh,
in
nice. Nick's
December.
SCMR.
Yeah.
Well, the original one came out in December, so like a bit of a time lag is expected. They're not supposed to be added
I thought they added
immediately,
them
but
like a month later, or maybe 2. Am I
It's-
wrong?
Hey, I'm gonna say it's close enough to next
it's
December.
still overdue.
I mean, it is appropriate. Like, it's a Christmas event, and Christmas usually equals snow and cold weather and everything. And it's winter down in Australia and New Zealand, so...
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably what they were thinking.
We,
That's
we
probably
get
what they were thinking.
thematically appropriate.
Christmas in July, you guys.
So, I mean, yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna be the hot take, I think, here at least, because I've realized just how much I dislike the COV bosses. There's only one thing I like about the COV, and that is actually gearing for the pro trial. No, wait, the elite trial, which is the one you still can one-shot with one unit, and that's the fun thing about finding the comp where you can use one unit and just fill in the rest of the units. I probably spend more time on that than actually just running a 5-man comp and replacing the 6th unit and just getting the rewards. But it's still that's what I think is fun.
yeah, I think
mean,
there's a.
Has anyone actually fought this like new
I
one
haven't.
yet?
I was busy with the boss rush today and
Nope.
other stuff.
I just did
yes,
the elite one, not the legend.
I did Legend once, and it took me quite a bit because so what happens is that if you don't kill it by turn 3, it spawns ads, and the ads do single target kills, deaths, and I don't think it's provocable. My provoke tank didn't die. It just avoided all my provoke tank, and
Is it like dispel and death or just death?
just death. I'm not sure if it's. I haven't checked the wiki. Like I just did a few trial and error. It took me like 23 turns for the first clear, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah,
Never again.
it looks like it's unprovocable death that also dispels.
Oh, beautiful.
It looks like it's an AoE dispel potentially.
Wow. Yeah.
At least from the mega
There's
thread.
a nice balance for a Chamber of Vengeance bosses. You want them to be doable enough that you can run a lot of different team comps, obviously, to get the 25 and later the 50 unit missions, which, please, 50 unit missions on like the Boogeyman one, I can't think of anything. I think I'd rather do DV, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd rather just,
Well-
shove a rusty nail.
But the thing about Boogeyman, it was fixed recently, so it actually you can do it in 2 or 3 turns. It's actually really easy.
It's been taking me like 15 turns using, what's her name? Lottie.
Oh, so you don't need to do that trick of using 8 different elements. Like if you use Shantotos, you can do it like CG Shantoto can do it in 3 turns. I know Rem can do it really quickly because what happens is that you just want to use 2 different types of moves every other turn or every turn. So if you mag first and then attack, etc., etc. So people have been doing it really quickly.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
good. Well, I hope I heard from Sinzar today that this new trial is actually a lot of fun. So I hope I was saying there's that balance between you don't want to make it too easy, because you want it to be a challenge, but you don't want to make it so hard that it restricts the amount of units that you can actually use. I thought Boogeyman went a little bit overboard, but maybe if they have fixed it, I'll go back and try when I get the 50-unit mission and see if they've, improved it.
When Caesar says it's fun, it means that it's hard. That is Caesar's definition of fun.
I was going to say, from the Mega Thread, it sounds like this one, Legion, is pretty rough right now, especially for trying to do multiple units.
I thought that was a dirty joke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, this is actually...
it's usually fun when it's hard.
It's pretty hard. I can't think of how I can...
Like, stop unzipping.
I can't think of how I can bring 50 units to do this. I don't know how I could do it.
I mean, I'm just looking at the stats. That guy is really tanky, spams a lot of AoE, spams dispels. Oh, oof.
I mean, you don't have to bring
This
50
isn't
different
easy.
units. You just have to run it 50 times and bring one different unit.
He's also
Using a limit burst triggers an uncoverable magic AoE.
He's also immune to 200% immune to all elements except ice.
Ice.
Ugh.
Yes.
So
Oh.
congrats Ace and Rem users.
No, but using ice damage also triggers extra mechanics, including breaks, more breaks.
So do you just use non-elemental, or how do you overcome that?
They are immune to non-elemental.
Where?
So it's a double fuck
So
you.
you just hit it with other elements at 80% resistance after 120 in
70%.
peril.
You can use Van now for the 130% in peril.
Oh, wow. For fire and wind.
Not everyone can use Vaughn.
It looks to me like the
Almost everyone hazard. Almost
it looks
everyone.
like the death and dispel only happens when you kill the minion, so you can
The
just leave
ads.
the minion alive.
Mm-hmm.
But they do a ton of damage.
But the minion has the same attack pattern as the main one.
Yeah, it certainly looks like a pain in the ass trial.
Which I welcome. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
hating it. It's just...
That's the
holy
thing
crap.
is, as long as it's
'Cause-
not limited, I don't care how hard it is.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the problem I have is
Actually,
that it looks hard and but it's also a trial that you have to do it over and over again.
Oof, that's what
yeah,
she
that's the
said.
thing.
I've also spotted one mechanic that seems really annoying, is there's a dispel plus, like, ailment and peril plus confuse, so it's unavoidable
Well,
confuse,
that's what
single
Phoenix is for.
target.
And I think I've been reading that you can't provoke it or something.
No, the confuse is provocable. The confuse is provocable. You want a Phoenix, though.
Yeah.
You need
Okay.
Phoenix.
Oh, right, for auto-med.
Automat, yeah.
But even then, that's still, like, you can only do that max of, like, 5 times before your items are used up? And the minion does it as well,
Yeah,
by
but-
the looks
but
of
they-
it, so it
they
could
only do
get
it once
used
per
up
battle.
fairly quick. Oh, okay. Is it just...
Yeah, it's after you hit them with ice damage on 5 separate turns. They do it once.
Oh, and you can't use limit burst because they start triggering the physical and magic non-elemental AoE.
Oh, is that what
No limit burst
happened?
At all, unless you're killing them.
Oh.
That is
They ignore cover
that
as well.
might be survival.
Not if it does it every single limit time you use the limit burst, and the ad also does it as well.
this is gonna suck. Well, it's gonna be fun too. But the Boogeyman was kind of funny because it would just paralyze your tank every single turn, no matter what. That was really freaking annoying.
I feel like the last trial that I had fun with was Telfosanis, and then this
Oh, that
is
was a
probably
great
the
trial.
next thing that evolution.
Yeah, but
But
I
that's
mean,
the thing, you only had to do Tell Fusanis once. You have to do this, I don't know,
50 times.
50 times to get all the missions in.
Yeah,
yeah, thing is, I'm too lazy for this. I really respect you others that actually try to do other comps, but I'm like, if I really wanted the rewards, I'd probably just build one team
I
and
I don't
swap
think
out
I've
one
ever
unit.
done
'cause-
any of the legendary Chamber of the Vengeful fights more than like 2 or 3 times. I've done the
completed
lower
all of them.
difficulties to get
Yeah,
the
I-
rewards, but not the
I've
higher
done all of
ones.
them. I even did
I-
Boogeyman.
Hazard, you're such a non-casual.
Oh,
No, but that's the thing, the ones before Boogeymans were a lot easier to do, the 50-man missions. The ones from Boogeyman onwards, the trials just became a lot more complex and a lot more things going on, so it's just harder to change up your team composition.
Well, it's just Hazard is a very he sees this stuff and he has to do it. He's a very competitive person. That's why he always pushes so hard in DV.
Yeah. But thing is, okay, so if you guys played War of the Visions, you'd know just how much of a non-casual Hazard is, because that dude
Nope,
is grinding
we're not talking
constantly,
about War of the
running
Visions again.
content. No, I'm talking about Hazard's personality. He's actually a huge
Completionist.
non-casual.
this is why I'm not a gamer. I play one game at a time or maybe 2, but I really go hard in those games. I don't spend, I'm not a money spender. I just maximize the resources that are given to me in a game. And so that's why I think DV pisses me off so much. Because it's the first thing that I can't do to my fullest because I am gated by either time or units or gear or patience. And whereas these other things I can do because it's not time limited. So even though it's really hard, I can still do it. But DV, it speaks to all the weaknesses I have in my competitiveness.
One thing.
But Hazard, you have Zenaida now. Go Hazard and demolish
I have
DV.
one Zenaida. Oh, I also got...
Get enough.
I'm sure you have a
Guys,
lot
I
of
also
DLCs.
got Paladin Cecil. Only one, though.
Yeah.
So I'm not using him.
Nice.
Screw that guy.
I bought my Paladin Cecil like a week before Charlotte got her enhancement, so... Although I still think it's worth it.
It's not.
Yeah, he is. It is. He does a lot more
Who
support.
cares?
He's like I've used him a couple of times already, Hazard. I know it's so worth
No,
it.
I'm
It's
just saying,
like crazy.
he's a
powerful.
great unit, but you don't need him. He's definitely not worth $25.
No.
You can hear the sour grapes going on with Hazard.
Worth 8 UOCs though?
Probably.
I
I won't do it until I actually need it, which won't be for a long time.
Do people not like Chamber of the Vengeful? Like, is that what it is? Because I enjoy it a
No,
lot.
I think most people do.
I don't like it that much. I don't mind having extra trials. I don't like I think that the trials are too time consuming for them to want us to do them so many times.
Yeah, I like the initial clears, not the reclear.
But I like that they offer it to us because Chamber of the Vengeance is a good balance between it gives you rewards up front for doing, like the elite one that's not too hard, not too time consuming. And then it gives you, just like Televisaunus, rewards that aren't really that important, but allows you to really play with this trial and really play with team comps.
I think the problem is that the count is too high. I would rather that it was a very low clear count, but it made you use completely unique teams. Like, if you clear it twice and you don't have any shared units between the two teams, then you get all the rewards.
I actually like that. And I liked actually the first trials more in this series. Like Eggman was actually, or no, what was it called?
Executioner.
Executioner, yeah. Because like that felt like I remember wanting to do all the levels, and that's one of the few ones I did all clears on, because it actually let me, use all of my different chainers that I had to good use. But right now I feel it's too many hoops to jump through. So I'm not just building a team. I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, I say it's too many mechanics for a repeatable trial. Like
Yeah, exactly.
if a trial
Yeah,
has
that's
to
what I
be
want to say.
Repeatable, it needs to be simpler.
I think we need to change the mindset though. It's like we don't have to do this like in a day or a weekend. I think it's meant to be like one of those things we come back a month later when we pull new units. Hey, let's try them out on this trial, and then we're still rewarded because we're using new DPS or new tank or new healer to change up our team. And it's not something that we're
Go back to Steamroll with NV units.
or I mean I guess, but like, I think there's a mindset that we have, like if there's content we need to consume it right away and prepare to go to next week's content. But Chamber of Vengeful, as Hazard mentioned, there's a lot of good upfront rewards. There's the gear, there's the pots, and Elite's really easy. People can spam that and get a 5-star guaranteed EX. It's the Legend one where it's like, okay, a month down the line I'll get a new DPS, I can try that. And this is exactly how I've been I did Boogeyman and how I did Lantern, and it's just a good way to play the game without having to feel like you're not being rewarded for playing it, because there's still SDR tickets and burst pots. So yeah.
No, but you just opened my eyes, Shadow. Wow, that is actually the best way to enjoy the COV. Because, like, you don't have to do all the 50 ones at once. You can just wait for, like, the next unit you pull, next damage dealer.
Yeah,
and go
exactly.
Back. Wow, that is...
Just remember...
No, thank you for that. This is how I'm going to do it.
But never actually go back.
This is the funny part, though. This is like a Sinzar playground kind of trial. And he'll have 10 videos up on how he did all 50 clears by 7 a.m. the morning it comes out.
But I think it's just how the community works. Once there's content out, we want to consume it and we want to be prepared for next week's content. But Chamber of Vengeful really isn't built like that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it isn't.
You've opened my eyes.
I guess
You're
Gummy
really right.
answered Sinza's request for more difficult trials.
Because I mean,
I think he is really happy.
Yeah.
And I really like this. You're absolutely right. We always want to consume the content immediately, but this is not built like that. This is built to kind of consume content as you go along, and that's really cool, actually.
Another thing they've done that I really liked, and we asked for it for a long time, was they've reduced the energy cost of trials to 10, which is amazing because it allows you to experiment a lot more, and the cost is so much less prohibitive than it used to be. So really well done, Gumi, on that as well. Is this like what's going on here? What's going on here? We're praising the game too much. I think we should.
This week was a good week because it wasn't like MK or Raids where it's like completely, basically brainless content. It was Boss Rush, which actually required some thought, and then we got Chamber of Vengeful. Morgana was refreshed to 50 units, and Zenyatta was released basically as a permanent unit. Like these are all good changes.
Wait, Zenyatta?
Okay. Zenyatta.
There he goes, Zenyatta. Look at that hipster.
Zenyatta.
I mean, that's an Overwatch character.
I'm glad you realized.
That's funny. Well, now that we've praised them for the content that came out today, I know the listeners have been on the edge of their seats for weeks for our part 3 of our FFBE retrospective in honor of the 4th anniversary. So I think we left off,
which is coming next episode.
Yeah. No, I think we should dive in a little bit.
It's like, yes, this is the announcement for the retrospective.
So we left off last time right at the start of the 7-star era, and I would say the game has changed so much since 7 stars came out, and it hasn't always been a positive thing, but I think there have been positive things since 7 stars came out. So I'll start with the positive first. Like, what's been your favorite part of the game since the 7-star era came?
For me, I think it's I remember particularly right before 7-star hit, I had like a lot of dupe Wilhelms and Gilgameshes sitting in my inventory. And the feeling that a few weeks down the line, these won't be useless dupes in my inventory, that these will be, counts towards my STMR, or I'll get the STMR. And that whole idea that dupes weren't useless was a great, fresh breath into the game, I guess. Because before the 7-star era, if you had 2 of the same 5-star units, they were useless.
Yeah, I made the same mental mistake, I'm gonna say. It just turns out that dupes are just as useless when you get them for shit units.
Or when you get your 14th copy.
No,
I'm looking at you, Ram and Noctis.
Yeah. And I want to... Okay, so Hazard, thank you for asking that question. That's actually an excellent question. Got me thinking a bit. And regretfully, I want to say nothing. I've given it some thought. No. Honestly, I've given it some thought. I think that the 7-star meta just degraded my game experience. I mean, of course, I'm not talking about everything we got after the 7-star meta, like good trials, challenges, etc. But I'm talking about the 7-star meta in itself. It degraded my experience, 100%.
Dream has something to add?
Yeah, for me, I was going to say, like, fairly similar to Shadow in general, just the prospect of units that you already know and potentially have getting stronger is always like quite exciting to me, because I always like enhancement and latent weeks for the same reason. Even like if they're not all going to be good, just that the potential of seeing what they can do with them is always fun, and breathing new life into old units that you might have stopped using already. And especially in that early 7-star when we had like a big batch of 10 every month to look forward to and see what they'd do with them was quite a fun time.
I think something that's... Oh, sorry, Muspel is next. Yeah.
Something that I liked, this didn't happen at the start of the 7-star meta, but it kind of evolved over time, was Alum and Gumi started making stuff that had traditionally been for damage dealers and giving it to other units. So, like, it used to be that your chainers were probably the only units on your team that had chaining skills. They were probably the only ones that had good imperils. Probably nobody had imbues, or if they did, they only imbued themselves. But nowadays, it's pretty common to have imbues or external imperils or support chains on pretty much everyone. I honestly think that probably every single unit released for the past 6 months has had a chaining skill, right? Or aside from like the finishers?
Almost all of them. Yeah, because like I was going to say, Phoenix Jake, I don't think has a single chain.
But then he's a pure finisher.
Most non-damage units have a skill with chains.
Or more than one. But yeah, so it makes finishers a lot more viable, which is nice for people that like doing that. It means that you have more elemental flexibility, because it used to be that you pretty much had to use elemental weapons, but nowadays you almost never do that.
That's true.
Yeah, I actually agree with that point, too. That's actually a very nice development in the game, although I wouldn't attribute it to the 7-star meta.
I don't think it's because of the 7-star meta. I think it's a case of Alum and Gumi starting to figure kind of starting to get their footing in terms of unit design. I'm not saying they don't make mistakes. They absolutely do. They make very big ones very often. But they are figuring some stuff out.
Oh, wait. I did figure something out that I did like with the 7-star meta. And that's actually the introduction of cooldown abilities. I know this is a hot take, but I actually like that mechanic.
Oh, I do too. I think it's a great idea.
I think, it made rotations so much more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually the positive thing I want to say about 7 stars.
But they also could have done that without releasing 7 stars. They could have released a new ability, something like enhancements or latents, right? They could have added that without.
Yeah, absolutely. But that feels like a very much a 7-star thing, though.
That's true.
We do have non-7 stars with cooldown abilities.
One thing I want to say that I don't like about the 7-star meta is I'm not really a big fan of trust abilities. I think that they're an interesting idea, but in practice, a lot of the time it just feels like an excuse to give these units shitty TMs, and then... But it's okay if they have a shitty TM, because the unit uses it anyways, because they need their trust passive. But we get units like Pain and Riku and... what's his name?
Even Rem's TMR is pretty garbage.
Bang.
Yeah, I want to avoid Rem's TMR most of the time.
Every time it sucks.
Oh, original Rem, yeah.
No, new Rem.
New Rem is pretty good.
No, I hate it.
New Rem's TMR is one of the few sources of magic true duel that
I know, but it's 25%, so you have to overcap it or undercap it.
Or use 2 of it. It's stackable.
Right, but the thing about
to have 2 of
that
them.
is it's taking up 2 materia slots to use 2 subpar TMRs. I don't have issues with
I was equipping 2 of
STMRs.
them pretty often.
I don't have issues with Mag
Yeah,
TTW.
but not everyone is swimming.
So if you don't have that problem,
Yeah, but like not everyone is
one
swimming
at a time.
with magic through
One
the
at
wheel,
a
though.
time.
Can we do 3 at a time? Actually, that'd be pretty cool. Like, Dream, if you can also jump in.
That...
No, I'm good.
the issue with
Oh shit!
I
For the
have
love
with
of God, Cotton.
No, we need one more.
the issue with Rem's TMR isn't that it's like bad. It's just it's bad. It's pretty bad. But the issue is for me is the numbers. You're either undercap it or overcap it. I hate doing that. I just hate it. So especially
I was hoping to get a Rem because I had Morgana STMR, so I was hoping to kind of get rid of my OCD there.
I found that for the last Dark Visions event, I was actually using 2 copies of Rem's TM pretty often on her. Usually because Ace was using my other Magic TDW gear and I didn't have enough for both of them to use all the STMRs. So I'm not saying her TM is as good as the STMRs, but it's not. But it's a TM, not an STMR. I don't expect it to be. It's still quite good by TM standards.
It's just one of those things where you feel obligated to use it, even though you've got much better stuff. I'm just not a fan of it. But anyways, you bring up a good point.
But like Rem's TMR ability is pretty skippable, same as Ace. Like I have built Ace without using his TMR or STMR, and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, the units that have skippable trust passives are usually fine. Some of them though they have vital trust passives and terrible TMs, and in that case it can feel like they're just making you pull for the STMR.
Well, I mean, I think that the whole trust. Oh, sorry, Dream. Do you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, wow, I didn't realize we got all the way to like a few weeks ago in retrospective already.
Yeah, I guess maybe we should rewind a bit because I want to talk about the early 7 stars.
Rewind a lot.
Yeah, but I just want to chain on to the whole trust ability thing. So what I want to say is, I still think it's a nice thing, whereas it's kind of having you equip the trust ability. Because I remember remembering it fondly for Lightning, because like all of a sudden I can use her Aurora Scarf.
I still have 0 of that thing.
Whatever.
It sucks.
I didn't even farm that.
Never.
Because I think it's pretty cool that you have your like Final Fantasy protagonist wearing their signature gear piece or using their signature weapon, like Titus actually using Brotherhood or Lightning using her shit scarf. I don't know why that is her thing, but like, you know.
Yeah, I like it in concept, I think. But if we're going back now to like star 7-star meta, we've talked about some of the positive things. Some of the negative things, I think it left in the dust a lot of 4-star units pretty quickly. And it's to the point where they basically don't even release them anymore. And if they do, it's just for some TMR that might be good and might not be good. We've had a pretty wide variety of that. But I don't know. I think it killed a lot of units, and I think it killed a lot of the creativity because, as Muspel said, a lot of units had kind of specific roles or very limited things they could do. And now you've got units like Paladin Cecil, for example, who can do multiple roles really, really well while also doing support chains. And like it makes it so those new units are so powerful and so good for that kind of team comp that it throws out a lot of the other units that only have one role, right? And now it's like if you don't have more than one role at this point, you're like it's worthless. Like we talk every week about this new damage dealer. Yeah, they do damage, but what else do they do? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what 2 years of Power Group have done, though, since early 7 stuff.
But I do agree with you,
And
Hazard, there. I do agree with you. It's a shame that it's kind of come to the point where there are some units that are so powerful that creativity goes out the door.
Like I was saying, I want to rewind a bit and talk about the earliest 7-star batch, because at the time, I think it's cool to talk about how we thought that they were shuffling around the release order, because in Japan, the first batch they got was a few terrible units and a few units that just made them utterly irrelevant. And in GL, our first batch was almost all just the terrible units. So we kind of figured that they were they were going to give us a gradual power ramp up, because we had like Gilgamesh and Delita and I'm trying to think of who else there was. Orlando, just a bunch of units that were not impressive at 7-star. The best one was Wilhelm. Wilhelm was genuinely good at the time, but aside from him, it was a lot of really bad units.
Yeah, I know everyone was like... I remember this big argument over who you should 7-star. Should you 7-star Lightning or Orlando? Like, who was the best of them to 7-star, kind of?
Which is funny, because
Orlando
Delita did
came
more
out pretty
damage than
later.
both of them.
Those were the days.
No, Delita did more damage, like regular Delita.
I'm actually not sure if that was true. I think we later found out that his chains broke.
That's true, but he still did more damage.
And I think a lot of the discussion was around, like, hey, but if you use lightning, you're gonna be more future-proof for these chainers that come along. While
Quickhead was a real chain family back then, whereas Delita just chained with whatever the fuck his thing was.
Nobody.
Yeah.
He couldn't chain with himself even.
No,
he
chained with Ramza, I think.
Yeah, but the chains broke. He couldn't do it. It was so sad. But you know why? Nobody knew that because no one had actually tried it.
Yeah, exactly. People were like, "Hey, Delita looks decent on paper," but like nobody actually put him in a comp.
You know who found that out? Me. I did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, these actually break."
I wonder why.
But hey, this was around the same time. Oh no, actually, it wasn't. Never mind.
That's right.
I was gonna say a Squall thing. But then I realized no. But my thing is from Squall enhancements, which were much later.
Oh,
so it's not.
You guys remember when Titus got a 7-star a little bit later, and that basically destroyed any viability he had, like any timeline of viability, because he had some decent viability in JP when they released him, but they waited just long enough in global that it completely wiped him out.
And that was a shame, actually, because I was one of the people that actually enhanced my lightning because Titus was coming.
Well, the main thing I remember about 7-star Titus's like just initial form was that his rotation was an absolute mess of like double cast, triple
capping
cast,
his own quick
like,
hit chains,
unique frames. Yeah, self-capping. He would not have worked with anyone, and I am glad that less people had to use him like that.
Yeah.
But to be fair, like way back then, the Android Spark chaining trick that I used still worked, so I could still easily Spark chain like Quick Hit or whatever bullshit family they had.
Yeah, when they changed that on iOS, they basically wiped out most of my damage dealers. I couldn't use any of them anymore.
Yikes.
Like Onion Knight.
Wait, you only use Quick Hit?
Well, Onion Knight, Titus, Knight Delita all chained unique families that had to be sparked, basically, or very, very close to it. And all three of them were wiped out.
I'm so glad they stopped that, though.
After that first batch, which,
unique
like I
family.
said, the first batch was mostly bad units, and then we got a few banners with really bad units. Like we had Livid Shantoto, who might still be one of the worst rainbows ever released. Squall and Renoa. Esturk, who I guess Esturk was okay, I guess, kind of. Dragon Lord.
His TMR was good, that was it.
Adam Jensen.
I mean, Renoa was great.
No.
I mean, Dragonaut was still pretty decent. I remember using him to nuke a few trials. Or was it after
enhancements? And then we got Hyo.
I think that might have been after enhancements.
Save for Hyo.
Yes, the Horde
for Hyo.
meta.
Yeah.
Horde for Hyo was maybe on
Was
Mars.
he? Wait.
His
It
motto.
feels like he came so much later than Squall, though.
Hyo came out before the second batch.
It was.
He did?
Yes.
Squall was
a week
3rd of
before.
August. Hyo was 14th of September.
Really?
So
It's that
they
close?
were. It was like 5-6 weeks
Oh,
after.
wow.
I
It
still
just
regret
felt like
Horde for
forever
Hyo.
because we were hoarding and we had all this lapis that we had to not spend.
And you know what? He wasn't worth
And
it.
a lot of us burst our bank for Hyo.
And then we got the second batch,
No,
which was
he really
a bunch
wasn't.
of trash units, and then like 2 or 3 that were okay, and Mercenary Ramza, who was fantastic at the time.
Muspel.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Did he get his enhancements
No, he
before
did.
his
No,
second
he
start?
did.
Yes,
He did.
yes,
He
he
did. He did.
Yes.
Okay,
But
so
they
yeah,
changed
he was good then.
his one of his covers, his physical cover was on a cooldown. They changed it for global to not be.
Yeah, so at this point we had 3
Oh, yeah,
7-star tanks.
that's-
We had Wilhelm, we had Awakened Rain, who had gotten his 7-star outside of the normal batch cycle, and we had Mercenary Ramza.
Yeah, we got Awakened Rain on the
I-
Hyo banner, which people were like, "What?"
I guess
He's
we had
8 months
Victor
early.
too.
Yeah.
I don't count him because he did not have cover.
Yeah.
Did we have Sieghard, or did he come much later?
Much
Much later.
He was
Probably
much
later.
later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all 3 of those tanks were legit, really good, and lasted for quite a while, honestly.
Wait, didn't we? We had Gladio.
He was
Gladio-
He did not have a
Gladio
7-star.
was
He didn't?
No,
Not
he
a little
didn't.
bit.
I thought he got it pretty early.
mean, like even if Gladio had his 7-star, like it was still pretty bad compared
Well,
to the others.
he-
No, he was.
So
But,
what was
but
on
the
his
reason I
unit
mentioned
first?
Gladio is because he was my only physical tank, because I didn't actually have a Wilhelm dupe, and I didn't have Merc Ramza dupe. So I used
was in the
Gladio
4th
for
batch.
He had
Yeah,
some.
I remember
really,
using Gladio for a lot of
He had
trials.
some niche utility with his single target cover was really good, and he was fine. Like he was fine, but he just didn't compare. Just in general.
Yeah, exactly.
use.
It's like when you're looking at bulk numbers, he definitely fell behind, but he was still good enough to clear a lot of trials.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fine. Like he could do anything with
And the
him.
thing with Gladio was
And then after that,
he specializes in his single target cover, but at that time trials basically require you to have AoE covers already.
Yeah. But the thing about Gladio is actually his 6-pack. I'm sorry, Cotton.
And after that, we
I understand, Barrows. I
after that we got to
understand.
see Gumi take a mulligan on global
Jesus.
exclusive 7-star units. They had already tried with Adam Jensen and Victor, and that did not go well. They were not good at the time. But then we got around the time of the 3rd batch, we started seeing we got Malphasie and Cersei, who were both pretty good, and then we got the Halloween units. And the Halloween units took 2 units who were absolute trash and made them fairly good, and then they also took Grimlord Sakura, who had been pretty good, and made her great. So Demon Rain at 6-star
I remember this.
was maybe the worst rainbow in the game. Like he had never ever been good. Like
I think Dracula's was even worse.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
Demon
true.
Rain had weird
Dracu-
counter
They were
mechanics.
both
Dracula was worse.
really bad.
Demon Rain was at least technically had
Counter
a role. He was
tank?
bad at it, but he had one. But at 7-star, they turned him into a physical tank, which made him. This was by now the 4th tank, I think.
I think Sieg might have been before
I'm
that,
not
so
seeing
He-
it here.
or
He got
slightly
his
after.
enhancements before the 7-star era.
Sieg
Yeah,
was
so
December.
so Demon Rain came out. We had another good tank. Dracu Lastwell came out. He was at the time the strongest chainer in the game, I think. Not by much, and he was borderline unusable because he spent all his MP in 2 turns. But he did deal a lot of damage, which compared to what he used to be was a big upgrade.
I actually used the Dracula Aswell and Demon Raid a lot in my trial clears after that point. They were both my best tanks and my best damage.
Now, didn't Draculasko have a really interesting niche at the time where he could be 100% evade and still have like
Yeah.
2k attack?
Because
is
yeah,
really
his
good.
STMR had a lot of evade.
Probably.
That was with his
Whales.
STMR, yeah. Yeah. Also, just speaking of him being strong, I see, like, going up the schedule then, like, 2 weeks later was Makina and Kurasame, and then Kurasame kind of just shat on everyone's
Yeah,
damage.
I remember that.
I
Still
remember
No
wasn't that
one knew
popular.
because he was dead. No one calculated Kurasame in JP,
Yeah,
right?
Kurasame
Something
came out,
like
and I was
that.
looking at the damage spreadsheet, and I'm like, I have to be making a mistake here. If there was a unit that did twice as much damage as Hyo, we
JP would've known.
we would have heard about this.
Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
this happening, and Muswell was flabbergasted. He's like, JP, this is when I think when Muswell finally came around and said, JP players know nothing. They're stupid.
He said
Yeah.
it again when Sabin came out, actually. Because-
Sabin
yes,
really put the
Sabin.
nail in that coffin. That
Yeah.
JP hype is not a good evaluation of which units will stay on top.
God no.
Exactly.
So Tifa's going to
Prob-
fall off in like a
probably,
week,
yeah.
right? That's how it works.
You know, I still don't think we're getting NV Tifa. Like, I'm sorry. I don't think that's happening.
And then right
we'll
after
see.
Demon Rain and Draculaska, we got the Halloween units for that year, which was Lilith and Lucius. Lucius was forgettable. Lilith was another solid tank. I think that because she didn't have Provoke, she was less popular. But
I think
No,
Lilith was
Lily
very
was
popular.
plenty
People were
popular.
talking
she was
so
popular
Plenty
because
popular.
assholes wanted to use her in Arena.
Thank you.
Yeah, true.
And perverts wanted to have her on your screen for some reason.
Really, Hazard?
Yes.
This from you?
Yes, dressing someone in slutty clothes
Shots fired.
is classic, like fan service nonsense.
And unfortunately, after that, I don't think any of the remaining 7-star batches had a whole lot to offer. There were a couple units in there that were okay, like Lid and trying to see who else.
Pyroglacial Laswell actually was pretty decent when in the batch that he came with.
Yeah, I
the
guess,
rest of
I
the
guess
season
he,
one
he
unit?
was a decent enough chainer.
But I remember the feeling that you're describing, Muspel, because it was kind of like I was super excited about the
Dynamite.
Awakening batches or the 7-star batches. And then as time went on, I was like less and less excited because I realized I had literally not used any of my old units, basically.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I guess Fina and Yuna were a pretty good batch.
I actually kept using my old units, and I ended up not pulling for a long time. Like I skipped Kyo, I skipped C card, I skipped everything like in between. And every time these new 7-star batches came out, I'm like, oh cool, I'll just use my old unit for this, and it always worked.
Actually, one really big one for me was Lauren being able to maintain those AOE 70% breaks. One of the sort of first
I
units,
remember not having her
really
back
early
then.
units to do that.
And the reason why Lauren had such a good 7-star awakening was because she was a premium unit in JP.
Yeah, that worked out really well for like Medina and Carlette.
Well,
Oh,
Medina and Carla were more on the SDMR bait side.
Carlet's
weren't
actually
they?
the enhancements I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
the
that's
most that
fair.
I think might not ever happen.
I think it's so sad because Carlette has
I
an
think
amazing
She has a
sprite.
cool sprite,
Like, it's so
amazing
well done.
animation. Her animations are so cool. She's a
Yeah,
really well
I
done
know.
unit, and we've never heard about her again.
Yeah, she's currently, I think, the second oldest unit on JP to not have enhancements.
Which is the
Who's the
oldest?
first?
Which means we're never getting enhancements for Carlette.
Wait, which is the oldest?
Oh,
or
he got
on
Layton's.
Like out
Yeah,
of
he got Layton's, which is,
non-limited
he
rainbows.
got thrown a bone a little bit. But Carlette's just
but, like,
completely forgotten
still.
by Gumi and Ellen. And please
Yeah,
give her
nobody throws
enhancements.
a bone to Carlette.
Please, she is so cool. Give her some justice.
Yeah,
Well,
please
if
bone
Lauren
Carlette,
got an
please.
EV, she might
Plus,
as well.
it's a hybrid. Come on, Gumi. This is your show. This is your hybrid unit that you bring out of obscurity.
Hazard,
This is
Hazard,
your
you have
show.
to speak their language. Gumi doesn't care about hybrids; they care about TDH hybrids, and Carlette is one of those. You have to emphasize that part.
Okay.
Remember, there is someone at Gumi that is incapable of achieving an erection unless they design a global exclusive TDH hybrid unit.
He and Barros would be friends.
So what you're saying is it's time to give like latents or enhancements to Carlette then.
Yes.
I'm all behind that idea.
She's really cool.
I mean, Hazard, you should design some for Carlette. Your Mercenaries Ramsa ones work
Although
Actually-
so well.
since she's
Yeah.
not global exclusive, they might just not care.
They might.
That's true.
All right. I'm commissioning myself to put out a enhancements post for Carlette in the next couple weeks.
Good.
Wh-
Ping Justin in
Do
it
it.
too.
So,
I will pin Justin.
what is your batting average on those, by the way? I mean, I know it worked the one time, but how
No,
many other times have you tried
I'm
it?
3 for 3.
Wait, which three?
My first one was with Knight Delita and Mercenary Ramza enhancements at 6-star. And then when they got their 7 stars, I asked for them to change Mercenary Ramza's cover to not be on cooldown. And then I also asked them to give Beowulf innate dual wield and some other things that they gave him. So
No, you have too much power for one man.
it only,
You need to use this
Wait, but
power
his
for
trap
good.
Guys,
is more
I
with
found the
Final Fantasy
Gumi
tactics
spy.
you did.
Yeah, this,
I'll send all my
I will
enhancements
say
requests through.
I did get confirmation from Gumi that they stole my Mercenary Ramza idea for Stone's Throw.
this sounds like a dangerous amount of power. It's almost hazardous.
Well, I think that's a good spot. I think that's a good spot to wrap it up for our third retrospective. We'll see you guys next week, and hopefully all of us will be there next time. It'll be wonderful.
Yeah, me too. I hope I haven't died by then.